I'm very happy to introduce our moderator for that is Todd Peuler, who's been actively involved in this long before I got here, and it's great support for our organization, and along with many of the folks that are sitting at the table now, have been really instrumental helping us, get kids and also parents getting their kids interested in the construction trades. Todd is the Director of Recruitment and Training for Fox Brothers, and without further ado, I will please welcome Todd to our table. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you, Andy.
Oops, I'm going to go this way so I don't
Trip
make
over
a
that.
fool of myself. Yes.
Good going.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's good to be here. I want to thank Andy and the HBA for hosting this event, putting it together. I think more importantly, we call them, I think it's correct, Andy's Angels, the ladies behind the scenes that help coordinate this and put all this together. So thank you. And not to put any pressure on you guys, but I don't know if we should say this is the first annual or not, but what a great event. Had a chance to talk to a few of the panelists, moderators all morning, and just a great event to use our resources and then connect the dots. Well, as Andy said, I work with Fox Brothers Company. Fox Brothers Company is a building supply company, and they sell exterior building products to the housing industry. And real unique opportunity, the Fox Brothers, along with Sean Bush, approached me and said, well, Todd, how would you like to change the industry? And, I thought about that. I was available, and I said, yeah, careful what you wish for. Huge undertaking. The building industry, I wish I had $1 for every time I heard this. There are more jobs than there are people. And there's just, we heard earlier, where'd the people go? Well, happy to say it has to start somewhere. And so what we're doing is make a conscious effort to really invest in talent, starting with the next generation. And so it made sense for me to moderate this panel because everyone on this panel I've either come in contact with, have close relationships with, and so it was just a natural for me to help moderate this panel. So without further ado, I'd like to have each panelist introduce themselves, and we'll start down at my far right, ladies first. So if you would, introduce yourself and give you a chance to talk about who you are and what you do.
Wonderful. My name's Amy Pierce, and I'm a career exploration coordinator that oversees the construction, advanced manufacturing, and engineering sectors. What that means, though, to you is here in Kent County, we've made a concerted effort to recognize that students can't be what they can't see. And so we have 120,000 students here in Kent County in grades K through 12 in our 20 public school districts, and they don't know what construction is. Or they have parents who are believing the media hype that says construction is not a viable career path, that skilled trades are gone. And we all know that's not true. So my role is to dispel that myth by creating opportunities for kids to see, touch, feel these industries. And we do that by answering 2 driving questions in our department. What do kids want to be when they grow up? And how can we, as adults in the community, help them see what that means and what it looks like? We do that through field experiences. That might be a job shadow. It might be an industry tour at a job site, at a company, partnering with the construction industry to celebrate Construction Month. We've just had some really great successes at 5 schools here locally in Kent County with Construction Month to introduce from the elementary level to the high school level to do things. And we do that through a variety of programs that we have and then custom requests from industry or from schools. I only have 5 minutes, and Todd will attest I'm a talker. So I am right now immediately where you can get involved. It is in your packet, but I do have nice little postcards I got this week called Groundhog Shadow Day. We have approximately, last year we had 256 kids that went out and did a one-day job shadow on February 2nd. This year we're actually anticipating about 600 kids will go out and do the same thing. and we would love to have you involved. And what I will tell you with residential construction, I only have one person who's participated thus far. So please join the movement and be the first follower. Small time commitment on your part, February 2nd, 9 to 2, but huge impact on the student. And really, it doesn't cause you to change your day. It just allows a student to see what happens in the sector. And imagine any role within your organization. There is a kid out here in Kent County who is interested in that role. Whether you're a builder, a painter, an electrician, you work in accounting or marketing or IT within the sector, please join me in showcasing this. The cool thing is, mentors can register through November 18th. Kids start picking their own slots on December 1st. And that's what's the most incredible part of it, is they look through this board and they say, that's where I want to be. So please join us on that. If you're interested, I do have postcards. Information is in here. But the web address for that is kentisd.org/groundhog.
With the Grand Rapids Urban League, and I'm actually sitting in for Lisa Butler. And now Lisa Butler is our director over our health, wellness, and our youth division. So I'm going to be speaking on that. Excuse me. In that division, and we've got multiple people that come in terms of, we've got our youth division, we've got it called, one of us called Our Girls Rock. I'm trying to remember this for her. Our Girls Rock, and we take the young ladies that are from ages 14 on up through high school, right? And we bring them in for summer programming, keep them busy, showing them, gardening tips, health and wellness tips, how to be, wonderful people tips. And then on the other side of that, we have our urban fellows. And that's the same age group. But one of the things that we're trying to introduce to them is not only how to be nice young men and women, but also how to start building their careers early. I heard a lot of people talk about that today, getting them early, right? And if we can start having conversations with these young people about where they can take their careers, but then once they get into an interview session, for example, they know how to perform, right? They can show the people that are going to be on the other end of that interview that they are nice people, nice young ladies, nice young men. And a new one that we just introduced was called our Sons Program, right? Now, we saw a lot of narrative out there that talked about disadvantaged youth, and we hated that name. We call it opportunity youth, right? Because if they start getting that moniker on their backs going forward, I'm a disadvantaged youth, well, guess what? They may perform like a disadvantaged youth. So we start saying, you know what? Sons, you are an opportunity. You have the opportunity to share your gifts with industry, right? So what we do is we bring them in, they're ages 16 to 24. Some of them don't have GEDs. Some of them don't have, high school. Some of them, are out there trying to just survive. So what we've done is we've invited them into the Urban League, and we're just showing them wonderful opportunities. They see people that look like them doing good things. We are all, when they come in our doors every day, we shake their hands, they shake ours, and you should see the transformation and the opportunities that they start seeing because they see people that look like them. And then when we start showing them about, how to handle yourself, how to look someone in the eye when you're shaking their hands, and then we take them through some of the classes that we take them through. We're starting to see these young men transform before our very eyes, and it's a wonderful opportunity. So now what Lisa does then is she's the director over it, and we have Javante Tubbs, and then we had Tori Brooks that are the young men that are teaching them through a curriculum about all the ways to be better than they've ever been before, right? Now, again, we're going to be introducing them to health and wellness opportunities. We're going to be introducing them to, employment opportunities. We've got, of the 25 young men in there, we've already got half of them into job opportunities, right? And one of the things I talk to them about all the time is like, hey, brother, what about being in construction, right? And they never thought about that. So we're going to develop a program called Brothers in Construction, just as simple as that, right? And the key is to see that there's opportunities outside of the traditional stuff they've been taught, right? And if anything they may have heard before about construction, oh, they lay off in the summer. I said, well, that's an opportunity if that happens, right? You've got a skill, you can go to another a warm state if you want to, come back when it gets going. But with everyone so busy now, there's no layoff from what I understand, right? Nobody's being laid off. So now they had an opportunity to stay working. The key is how can we, keep continually transferring what they've been doing into something more positive, right? And into a situation that they can have a skill that they can take anywhere. Warm state, not warm state, somebody gets laid off, no big deal. Come back when you need to. The key is how can we introduce these opportunities that you guys provide to them? And we have the youth, we're getting them young. Whatever you guys want us to impart on them, we can and will. And then you'll have a nice, youthful workforce to, take into your industries. So that's what Lisa's doing over there. Like I say, I'm sitting in for her the best I can. And I wish you guys could meet her. She's a fantastic director. She's a fantastic person. And she's training up these youths to do what you need to do.
Thank you very much. My name is Gideon Sanders. I'm Director for Innovative Strategies for Grand Rapids Public Schools. I'm also an Assistant Principal at Innovation Central High School, which is the old Central building. I'm assuming Lisa did not go to sushi with you last night. I'm just checking. So I went for a walk last night because I wanted to make sure that I had clear in my mind what I wanted to talk to you all about today, or at least present on behalf of GRPS. And it didn't clarify anything. And then I got up at 4:45, which to you all isn't exactly an early morning, and went for a walk this morning. I learned two things from that. I still don't have a good opening, and my legs are tired. But I'll start with this. When you're passionate about what you do, you demand perfection from yourself. And that's what we're trying to get our students to understand. I want to start with a story. We recently went to Enterprise Tool and Die as part of Manufacturing Week. And we took our Academy of Modern Engineering students, and we also took some of our Academy for Design and Construction students. And on the ride home, after a long day of going to Gill Industries and Enterprise Tool and Die and seeing all these things and meeting new people and trying out new things, I was lucky enough to sit next to two young Hispanic gentlemen who are in our design and construction cohort, and they are actually on the construction side. One of the young men is a very rough individual who, for the last 2 years, has given us fits. And as we have pulled our hair out, trying to figure out how to connect with this student and get him sort of on a path to success. He had it in him, we knew he had it in him, but he just did not want anything to do with school or us. Well, in talking with the two of them, I started with this young gentleman. I said, well, what did you like about the day? He said, well, I really liked the welding. GRCC brought a welding simulation, and he totally got into that. I said, well, okay, what didn't you like? He said, well, the guy doing the quality assurance with the computer stuff, not for me. And the young man in front of him was kind of laughing, and I said, well, what about you? Why are you laughing? What did you like about the day? He said, that quality assurance stuff was really cool. I said, what didn't you like? He said, that welding stuff was terrible. So what that told me was that we have to introduce the kids to as much as possible for them to be able to find their passion. The inner city is the greatest untapped resource you have for any industry. I've worked in DC for 8 years. I've worked out in a suburb for 8 years, and I've now worked in Grand Rapids for 4. The urban district is where you are going to find your greatest workers because everybody discounts them. They're the opportunity. They're not the ones to shove aside because they have overcome so much more than those kids in the suburbs who've been lucky enough to be presented with opportunities, whether through their parents, through organizations, through their schools, that these students haven't had an opportunity to encounter. And when they face these challenges, they don't look at it and say, I can't do it, because that's not an option. I can't get home on time because practice ran late. Okay, I'll come pick you up. Well, that's the suburbs. On the inner city, it's, I can't come home right away because practice ran late, or I missed the bus. Well, tie your shoes tighter and start walking, because that's what it's going to be. They find ways to make things happen. And they do that for their schoolwork. They do that for their friendships. They do that for their family. And they'll definitely do that in the right environment for their work. At Innovation Center, we have 4 academies: Academy of Modern Engineering, Design and Construction, Health Sciences and Technology, and Business Leadership and Entrepreneurship. Within the Academy for Design and Construction, we have 2 tracks: design, obviously, and construction. The design, the first 2 years are spent sort of doing the same thing, all the students, and then in their junior year, they select between design and construction. The design students do 2 years of working on Revit, SketchUp, all of the computer programming that they can do, and also design thinking. And then the construction, and this crosses over nicely with our Academy of Modern Engineering. We have a civil engineering and architecture track, or a course that now our design and construction students can bleed into, so that there's some cross-pollination. For our construction students, they start in their junior year as well, and for 2 years, they spend time building Habitat for Humanity houses. They build 1 a year. In fact, the program has flourished so much that we have 2 crews that go out, 1 for 2 hours in the morning and 1 for 2 hours in the afternoon. It's a great problem to have, as I heard somebody say earlier today. The problem is that they're working way too fast. So they actually now are getting pulled off that job to go paint another Habitat house or another project that Habitat has. So really, the relationship between Habitat for Humanity and design and construction has been fantastic. We have a number of different opportunities. We are really blessed to have an incredibly strong advisory council. Andy sits on that. Jen Schottke, who was here earlier, sits on that. We also have opportunities for mentoring, which I know that Randy's going to be a part of. And we are continually looking for our outside partners in the community to be a part of the school and the success that we're meeting. We had about 30 partners for the 4 academies when I got here, and it was brought all under one roof by Superintendent Neal. We now have roughly about 150. So we really have reached out, branched out, diversified our portfolio of people who want to be involved, and that can include you if it doesn't already. Another opportunity is our 3-on-3 basketball tournament, which is organized through our advisory council members for design and construction. The last 2 years has garnered us about $25,000. Just from people coming and playing. It's a 3-on-3 tournament. It's friendly. It's competition between, the pipe fitters and the lumber guys, and and it just goes on from there. And it's a lot of fun. It's all in good spirit. There's a halftime shootout for the students, and I'm going to put this on camera so that I commit Norm to it. Norm Brady from ABC offers up $1,000 for any kid who can hit a half-court shot. So I just want to put that out there. The other thing is this idea of see it, touch it, taste it, smell it. Hopefully in your industry, not taste it. But we take field trips. And I think if you take a quick moment, think about how many field trips you took in high school. Just your high school, your 4 years. If you did, you probably went to DC, right? Or you went to Lansing. We believe that the experience comes from being in the industry that you're interested in. So last year, I personally helped to organize, either on my own or with another teacher, 85 field trips for the students. That's myself. We ran about 140 to 150 out of the building. That's almost 1 a day. And that's coming to people like you so that you can display what you do, show the kids how exciting it can be so that they can be a part of it as well. We're not taking the students from business leadership and entrepreneurship down to an FTC&H site or to a home build that the parade of homes, which Andy helped set up. We're actually taking the kids from design and construction to see a construction site. We're taking the kids from modern engineering to see manufacturing and engineering plants. We're taking kids from biomedical sciences to a laboratory so that they can see what's going on in the labs. We really want to get them integrated into their discipline. I'm going to end with just a couple of questions that I want to leave hanging, and we can answer them later. When it comes to the students, when it comes to a high school student, what are we afraid of? What is it that we're afraid of? Is it because of preconceived notion, or is it because of actual firsthand knowledge? Don't count your own kids in that. Okay, don't count your own kids in that. And then lastly, why do the bulk of internships and job opportunities in the summer go to college students? Reach down. Foster the industry at a younger age. These kids are ready. They want it. Thank you.
Thank you, Gideon. Scott Mattson, Grand Rapids Community College. And when you think of community college, you mostly think of working with young adults or adults. But we have started to engage with down to fifth graders, sixth graders, up to 12th graders. And it's not new for us, but I think what's really kind of the phrase we've used now, it's intentional engagement. I mean, it has to be intentional. It doesn't just happen. We have to send out this year our incentive. We sent out calendars to a bunch of high school teachers and K through 12 counselors, teachers. It doesn't matter if you're a fifth grade teacher. You may have got one of our calendars this year. As a result of that, this week alone, we have 5 tours at our facility. We never got tours before coming into the MTech. We try to make them fun. We try to keep them hands-on. I think 3 are coming from Grand Rapids Public Schools this week. 1 is Covenant House. 1's coming from Ionia this week. Actually 6 we have Grand Rapids, the Challenge Scholars coming on Friday. That'll be the 4th time they've brought a group. I mean, but it's all intentional. It's not just happening. We're out looking for it. As far as opportunities, every summer we hold a 1-week construction camp and also a 1-week woodworking camp, but that's for 6th through 9th graders. It's $25. They can come there for, I think it's 6 or 7 hours a day, Monday through Friday. And then for our high schoolers, 10th through 12th graders, we call it our Jump Start construction program. We partner with employers. It's a 4-week program. They're doing skills with us. They do go on some job visit sites. We lean on our employers to help that. But then at the end, we ask these employers to interview these students. Whether you give them feedback, give them immediate feedback, but whether it's the next generation committee, again, it's intentional work. If we don't mention it, I won't take the whole time right now, but I think before we wrap up this panel, for those of you that don't know about Michigan Career Quest, it's an amazing event. It's probably the busiest day and the most tiring day most of us work from an engagement standpoint, but if no one else is going to talk about it, I'll talk about it at the end, but I won't take that opportunity now, so thank you.
Good morning. My name is Patrick Shanafelt. I work for the Home Builders Institute at the Gerald R. Ford Job Corps Center as a building construction technologies instructor. Got a little slideshow presentation over here. We are a national leader in the building training industry. We have a job placement rate of over 80%. We have a commitment to the communities that we train in. We're a sister organization of the Home Builders Association. We prepare our students with pre-apprenticeship training, job placement services, certification programs, textbook, and curriculum. We have more than 13,000 students. We serve the underserved, the inner city youth, veterans. We have training programs actually on military installations. We work with justice-involved youth and adults, secondary and post-secondary students. We teach training skills across 9 different building trades, and that allows our students the opportunity to have a big leg up when they finish our program. You can see the areas that we teach in there on the board. We also can teach our students to be job site superintendents through our residential construction superintendent designation. Our training programs are national in scope, but they're locally implemented, which means that we're reaching out to our local organizations and we're asking you, what can we do to provide trained laborers for you? If we happen to be out in Montana, we might have trades that are specific to that particular geographic location. California, they have earthquakes. Florida, they have high winds. Here in Michigan, we have the 4 seasons. We live in Eden, so all of our training is hands-on. We have classroom training that's followed up immediately in the shop with hands-on training, and all of our training is based on national skills standards. We have the 5 steps of service. We connect through partnerships with the community. We try and find what you need. We try and find how we can work with the different organizations, get these students into our program. We assess their background, their job experience, their math and their reading levels. We're going to work with them to improve these. We train them in the classroom and on community projects. Mr. Sanders talked about working with Habitat for Humanity. My students each week donate about 120 hours to Habitat for Humanity, and by the time they've finished in my program, each student will have donated about 300 hours individually. They do get certified in PACT, which is pre-apprenticeship certification training. They get their OSHA. I don't teach CPR, but they do have that available through our program, and we have more than 80% placement in industry jobs. All of our instructors have at least 7 years experience in their trades. I've been doing this for 40 years. We have regional managers to ensure program quality. We also have career placement coordinators to assist with our job searches, and we have mentors to guide each student. HBI does train in 42 states. The National Job Corps program is in all 50. We do try and create partnerships to help build those foundations for growth in the communities. They're federal, state, and local, nonprofits. You can see everything that's up there. School districts can also use our PACT programs for Residential Construction Academy for the curriculum from 9th to 12th grade. We are one of only 3 pre-apprenticeship curricula approved by the Department of Labor. We do integrate the skill training and the academic training all together. We have the job readiness, employability skills, which are your soft skills, and we also we work with the National Green Building Standard. These are some of our textbooks. A lot of the other instructors probably work with some of our books. You can visit us at hbi.org, and now that we've done that, I'll talk a little bit about our program on center. My finger got a little tired holding the button. So I work over at the Gerald R. Ford Job Corps Center. HBI is brought in as an outside contractor by the Department of Labor to these different centers around the country. The Job Corps centers themselves have been around for over 50 years. They were set up as an offshoot of the Civilian Conservation Corps to provide an opportunity for inner city youth that were not having the same advantages. It started out at Camp Catoctin, I believe, in Maine. It was such a success that they decided to go ahead and expand it nationwide. Our students are a captive audience. They will live on center for the most part. We will have some non-residential students, but most of our students live on center, and it's a voluntary program. We serve from 16 to 24-year-olds. We get them from all over the place. Most of my students are from the Detroit area, but I also get them from Cleveland and from Chicago. I even have a couple here from Grand Rapids. My program lasts approximately a year. So from the time they start to the time they finish, they will spend a year getting trained in building construction technologies. All that means is that this is pre-apprenticeship training for plumbing, drywall, electrical, HVAC, prep and paint, all of your building skills they'll get a little taste of each one. I'll also help them improve their math skills. Again, they will get their high school diplomas. We're going to ensure that they get their driver's license. If they have dental problems, we're going to get their teeth fixed. We're going to make sure they have eyeglasses. We're going to assist them with job placement and with housing after the fact. While they spend their time with me, I'm actually able to dig deep into who they are and what they want in life. When they first come to me, they don't know, but they know that they want something besides what they've had. I give them the opportunity to explore a wide range of different fields in the construction industry. And over the time that they spend with me, I'm able to determine that this guy really likes electrical, especially when we're invited by David Kitchen over to the Electricians Union Hall. They go in there and they get to spend a day there doing different workstations and stuff. I'll get 2 or 3 students that really want to be electricians. So I'll focus those students on electrical. I have students that might want to be a plumber or a pipe fitter. We'll work on that. We'll spend a tremendous amount of time working on soft skills. Keep those pants up, be on time, be respectful, look good, right? Those are the skills that you guys are really looking for right there. If they can do that, the rest of it's pretty easy. But we actually try and give you a little bit more finished product than that. We actually try and give you someone who's motivated and who already has a life goal. One of the things that I don't have is all these connections. I can't do this by myself. And for the last 2 years since I've been in this program, that's what I thought I was doing. It wasn't no fault of anyone. It was just me being ignorant of the resources that are available. Now that I know that all of you are here and that all of you are on the same page, I look forward to working with each and every one of you to ensure that our students, our youth, have the opportunity to not only fulfill their dreams, but also to help you fill your needs. Thanks.
Thank you. My name is John Bitely, and I'm going to thank Gideon for helping me with my introduction. The word passion was used, and I truly have a passion for our industry. I can sit here and tell you I've been in the industry 30 years, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, it's a passion, and it's where the next generation came from. A number of years ago, West Michigan was kind of leading the state out of our recession, and a number of us had the vision that we were already short of workers. We already knew we were in trouble in our industry. We were not training anyone. Matter of fact, our schools were promoting anything but the trades. As we went forward, we recognized we needed to do something about that. We started the Next Generation Committee, which is where this came from. And ultimately, you're here today, and I thank you for that. I want to make sure that I mention the CWDA that Scott had mentioned. There is a handout here. There's 2 parts of that. One is I'm going to encourage you, actually 3 parts. One is if you're not a home builder member, please consider that. Please look into what this organization can do for you, for your nonprofit, and how we interconnect. Patrick talks about the connectivity. That's really what this organization does. We help connect the dots. We put the people together. These things happen because we are a great community and because our industry is interconnected. Secondly, the Next Generation Committee, which is part of the Home Builders Association, where these things have originated from and come together. And then, in turn, the CWDA, which is an interbrotherhood with other industries just like the home builders, ABC, and the other organizations. Yes, thank you, Andy. And this thing, it draws thousands of people. I can't stress to you enough. I worked this event, as Scott had mentioned, and one of the things that just struck me, and it's stuck with me since this spring, the kids coming through did not know what a skilled trade was. They didn't even know what that meant. It's a great opportunity, and I'm not against college, and I encourage further education and so on. But for those that don't want to be 50, 60, 80,000 in debt from a college education, you can be paid to learn a trade. our industry pays you to come in. And those opportunities are there. And I really encourage each one of us as we go forward today to continue to be part of this and to bring us forward. I have a lot more, but I'll hand it off to Ryan at this point.
Good afternoon. My name is Ryan Nettesheim. I am with the Center for Community Transformation, and specifically I'll talk about our Youth Build program. My introduction is kind of easy because these guys hit a lot of stuff for me, so thank you to the panelists that kind of have already touched on a few things. Patrick had mentioned the need to not do this alone and how many resources are out there. Our program and our center is kind of a living proof of that. We could not be successful. We would not have the opportunities for our students if it were not for the people sitting at this table, the people sitting in the, here in the audience. Grand Rapids is a phenomenal city, and it's full of people that do want to help, and sometimes it's just letting them know how. And so that partnership that we've seen working with the Home Builders Association, working with some builders, working with the universities and other training programs, we have a lot to offer in Grand Rapids. The resources are there to train the next generation, and so we're very happy to be a part of that. The way that we're working to train the next generation for really any level of work, but specifically for the construction training industry, is through our Youth Build program. Youth Build was started back in the late 70s in New York when it was clearly seen that there were young people standing on the corner next to buildings that were falling apart. And the idea was, well, let's train this generation to repair the housing around them and create opportunities for them to make not only strides in their own life, but to rebuild communities as well. And so that's something at the Center for Community Transformations in our name, something that we feel very passionate about, and we can do that through our young people and specifically through our construction training. So our Youth Build program is primarily for 18 to 24-year-old young men and women. There's two primary needs that most of our students are going to come to us for. First and foremost, our top priority for a lot of our students is earning their GED. That next piece of education is immensely important, and we want to create an opportunity for them to complete their education. So our students will come in for over about a 7 to 8 month period, and will work intensely in our program Monday through Friday to earn their GED. We do not run a program where you sit down in front of a computer for 8 hours a day and click buttons. That model works for some, and I'll say it doesn't work for most. Our program really is proud of the fact that we've created an education component that is hands-on with real live instructors, and then we pair it with things like computer-based programming or testing and that kind of stuff. But our students are going to work in a classroom setting with instructors that know them as people. We serve, generally 18 to 23 students at a time over that 8 month period. So we have the opportunity, as Patrick said, to really get to know our young people and really get to know what those barriers might be in their life, or how that we can, help open some doors for them. So in addition to getting that GED training, all of our students then also receive construction training. This is entry-level construction training. As Patrick gave a great introduction about HBI, we use HBI curriculum and model. So we also train in the PACT. We do OSHA 10, we do CPR, we do safety. It's a great curriculum, and it's a nationally recognized curriculum that allows us to have our students get a taste of a variety of different trainings. So again, not everyone wants to go swing a hammer and frame. Well, that's such a small sliver of the industry, then let's expose them to other things, the electrical, the plumbing, maybe the administrative, the office work. So we want to give all of our students a wide variety of experiences. What I love about construction is, one, it's a fantastic industry. You can support yourself, you can support your family, you can build a beautiful life being a skilled trade and being a craftsman. It's not for everybody. And it's not for all of our students. Some of our students come in focused on that GED and say, well, I don't want to do construction. I don't want to build. I understand that. That's not everyone's area. But there are skills there. We call them transferable skills, your soft skills, whatever you're going to call them, whatever the phrase is. For us, it's transferable skills. Construction is an amazing industry for us to expose our students to those skills that can be transferable to any industry. So the things that we hear from the industry, the being on time, the being prepared, the communication skills, those are transferable. I don't care where you're going to work. If you can work those skills, you're going to be employable anywhere. So for our students that don't want to do construction, we tell them, okay, don't do construction after you graduate our program. Okay, you are going to do construction because there is so many skills that we can pass along to our young people through your industry. And through those students, we traditionally have a handful of each that had no idea they wanted to be in the skilled trades. Again, going back to some people's conversation about how you're getting down into the 5th grade, the 6th grade, that's where it needs to start, because the impression of the industry is not accurate. The idea that you are going to always be laid off, or that you're going to do backbreaking work that'll leave you crippled for the rest of your life, that's just not the case. And often our students are coming in at age 18, 19, 20. That's our first thing we start with, to say, let me really show you what these programs are and what these trades are. And the idea is that college is not for everybody. And I've worked with young people for a lot of years. I can say with certainty, it's not for everybody, and it doesn't need to be for everybody. Go out and get your trainings, go out and get those vocations. The universities and these other training programs do an amazing job at that. So we work hard to educate on what the industry actually is, and that our students can leave our program and either go straight to work if they want to, or go get additional training through GRCC or some of these other unions, and make more money than most of us sitting up here in their first year. And so I tell them, go out and do that, and go out and I think sometimes that's where we rely on the industry, is to paint that picture for our students, to say this is great work. Our program is located right in the inner city, which is similar to other programs here. It's untapped resources. And at the same time, the construction industry is not a diverse one. I don't have to say that and wonder if anyone's going to disagree with me. It is reality and it's fact. And so to work with different populations, we're calling on the industry to look at how they do their business and how they support their employers and how they look at their potential employees, and how are you working with our students, and how are you committing as an industry to tapping into the next generation of students. Anyone who runs a business or who does hiring knows the cost of turnover and the cost of training. And yet I hear from the industry say, well, we can't afford to pour into our employees, or we can't afford to train our students. And my response always is, can you afford not to? You have a whole section of young men and women out in Grand Rapids that are ready to work, but you're going to need to do your part and develop them. We'll do our part on the training side, and we're going to work on these transferable skills, and we'll give them a good base that will make them useful to you as employees. And now it's on you to take it to that next level and say, how do I develop these employees? Because it's across any industry, you need to develop your workforce. And maybe when things are good and there's people lined up out the door with the skills, you don't have to. The reality is these days you do have to, and it will pay off for your industry. So we're doing our part within Youth Build to deliver those skilled trades experiences. We work with, similar to other programs, we go out and work on job sites. We develop low-income housing. So our students, similarly, are out building low-income housing. Some of our students that are building houses are currently homeless. This is something that means something to them. In fact, they're building houses for them. The houses we build are for students and for young people. And so we believe that we can take our training experience and transform the city through better housing, through better opportunities. So it's a phenomenal program. It's something we can't do without the partners within our community, that either we become a feeder system to the GRCCs or to the construction industry, but then that give back from the industry. And that's done in a variety of different ways. And so we need you to be involved. It can't be a one-way street where we develop young people and then they're yours and you go. We need to do the partnership. The HBA, the Next Generation Committee, is leading that stride, and it's the pieces are there, and I'm glad to see everyone coming together to put those pieces together, because I know it's something that we can really make a huge impact in. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, thank you, panelists, for introducing yourselves and what your organizations do. Very important. I'd like to open it up for questions out there. If there's any questions, be happy. Yes, go ahead.
I have a twofold question. The first is, my name is Amanda. I'm the owner of a company called Sure Media. I'm a custom AV integrator, and I'm constantly, Andy will attest to this, educating the HBA builder members and other people about what my industry is, because traditionally it fell very closely under like the electrician role. With the new Internet of Things and everything coming out and the networking of the households, that industry is really changing. You've got the electricians, now you have like what my company is, AV low voltage specialist. So my question is, are you guys starting to develop that education for kids as the Internet of Things is coming out first? And the second thing is when you're talking about doing these new builds and these new construction homes and stuff, are you making sure to integrate those types of things and those types of concepts into these houses so that these kids are exposed to that? Because really, my industry is kind of becoming a breakout. I'm not an electrician. Electricians are some of my best referrers because they realize that the industry is changing, but I need to get people that understand what it is that I'm doing and how do I help educate kids to know that that's an industry, a viable industry.
HBI gets its funding from the Department of Labor, and we have an obligation to keep up with industry standards. But you have an obligation as a member of the industry to come on in and let us know what you need. One of the things that we do offer through our program is what's called work-based learning. If you're interested, or the contractors that you work for are interested, you may come down, sign a memorandum of understanding with us, and with no liability to you, we will supply you students for 6 weeks. You can take them out there, put them under your wing as long as they're under the direct supervision of a competent person and they're being kept safe. You can help us teach them. At this point in time, we're few men trying to teach many, and we have to raise all ships. This has to be a community effort. You have to help us help you.
I'll add to that. We run the same curriculum, so it's not one of the primary focuses within the curriculum. However, it is of extreme interest to our young people. So a lot of times, our young people don't know that's what they want to get into. They don't know that's the field. They don't know what it's called, but it is something that they're interested in. Our Center for Community Transformation, I encourage anyone to come down and see us. It's an amazing facility. That facility was built in part by our students. And so we did partner with an AV company, and they came in, and our students actually did all of the work, and they were trained by them. So you'll see up in our rafters over 2 miles of data lines, and our students had the opportunity to run those and learn that it's not just, hey, grab this wire and pull it across the building, and you do that, you're going to have problems and you're down the road. But as Patrick has said, yeah, it really is going to be important that the community comes with that and says, please let us get some exposure into this and show your students. Again, our big, I heard the word several times, opportunity. That's what we can offer for students is opportunities. And so when someone like yourself can come in and say, this is what we do and how we do it and what it's all about, that's a huge, huge bonus for us. Similarly, we run programs where we can also, if we have a student who's interested, put them on your work site and get trained right by you. The beauty of that is not just necessarily learning the skills needed to be in that industry, but your expectations as an employer. So even as we say, come in and share your experience with us, share more than what your work is and your technical side of things, but what your expectations are as an employer. So like Patrick said, we are more than welcome to have you come in and connect with our young people and share that, because that's one more opportunity that might, be a passion for somebody in our program.
Additionally, we don't run the same curriculum as them. So another opportunity is that we are constantly looking for people to come in to talk to our classes, both our modern engineering, which sounds like this would be sort of a bridge between the two, as well as our design and construction, where you would be able to we have what are called Center of Innovation meetings once a month. On the third Monday, we have somebody come in for each of the academies. The academy meets as a group, the entire 9th through 12th grade that's picked that academy, and then we have them get introduced to a career, introduced to part of an industry, and what it takes. And it's literally 10, 15 minutes, but you never know when that spark is going to hit. Invariably, you'll have question time, and the first question will, of course, be, well, what do you make? So, these are students. You got to be ready for that. We also have plenty of opportunities in the classroom. The 9th grade has a broad spectrum of parts of the industry that they investigate during the year. And this would be a great way to connect with the lead teacher of ADC and have her kind of slot you in where it would be appropriate with her curriculum.
A lot of answers to that question, eh? Want to assure you that the Internet of Things is happening in our local districts. We have 2 STEM consultants on staff that specifically address the Internet of Things because it is becoming a very integrated process for individuals. So not only do we do it with students, but we have a program called Teachers in Industry. So we're beginning to introduce educators by taking them out on field trips so they understand what the Internet of Things is as well. And then our STEM consultants have a great new program they've begun called the Business Problem Video Library. And the purpose of that is having local community members introduce a problem in their business, something that they face that ties in with the curriculum standard, but in a quick 3 to 5 minutes that maybe can assist a local teacher at an elementary, middle school, high school level. And we'd be happy to get you connected with them so you could talk about the Internet of Things.
One more comment on that. The Home Builders Institute, HBI, does actually offer advanced training to its students, those that are motivated to take it to the next level. In Oneonta, New York, for example, we actually teach underground linemen and instrumentation. You go out to Denison, Iowa, we have advanced training in HVAC. All over the country, we actually have different types of advanced training programs. We teach solar down in Florida, and I don't know the specifics of everything we do, but I do know that on our website, we actually have a jobs board that not only lists the resumes of our students, but it also allows you to post positions that you would like to have filled. And I'm absolutely convinced that HBI can meet your needs.
This is what the Next Generation Committee is all about. It's recognizing that we're not just going to go out and hire the person we need as an employee. We have to nurture them and bring them alongside and teach and train. Our industry as a whole, we're terrible teachers, and it's time we recognize that and step forward with it. And as we partner with these individuals and training centers and different things, we're going to excel, and that's where this all started. And I encourage you to become part of the Next Generation Committee and move forward with this because it's our future.
All right, another question?
Yeah, one quick question. So essentially, you guys are finding the diamonds in the rough, finding them for us. I'm looking for diamonds to build, and I can probably come up with 50 to 100 contractors or trades that are looking for that. The question I have is, there's really no resource between the diamond and us. I saw, 20 panelists today. How do I go? Do I talk to all 20? Some of you very passionate, some might fit my industry better. I don't know that. But to me, it seems like there's not a resource between you and me that I can say, okay, how do we get these together? Or do I do the legwork and see 20 people and try to determine what's the right fit?
Can I go first on this one?
Come to us first.
You need to be a member or part of our committee. This is exactly what it's all about. And whether it's Dawn here from our state level at the HBA, whether it's our local and so on, because those dots start connecting. The resources, the people, it's there. And then what that looks like for your individual company is different than what it looks like for mine and where they're at. But I've got the same thing. I can attest, because I started at this, 4 years ago when we started this? Or my company has not suffered the labor shortage that most of them have. And it's because I started early. I got ahead of the curve, and I encourage you to come in the same way, because there are people there. Back to the CWDA, and the kids don't even know what a skilled trade is. Come on, that's our own fault. And as we do better and reach out to them, we will have the trades we need, and you'll have the people you need. Maybe our competitor won't, but it's how you get ahead of them. And these kids are here, and we have to start with the kids, because there was not anybody trained for 6 years during this recession. Our industry depends on younger people.
When you look at it, it's you started your own business, from what I understood from what you said earlier. Is that, or you have your own business? Okay, so you all are willing to take a risk because it's very risky, especially in a market that has ups and downs, that you take a risk like this and you're successful in it. You have to be the same way with your employees. You have to be willing to take a risk on these kids. Because if you don't show them that you're willing to engage them and be supportive and say, hey, you know what, I think you can do it, then they're going to constantly feel that wall put up between them and their employer, them and their industry, them and the trade that they enjoy. The other thing is that we have a mentoring program, which is an incredible opportunity, maybe not to find the exact employee that you want, but to start to build that industry and also to find maybe one of their friends. And they meet once a month, which is an hour out of your day. Would you like to spend that hour for a lot more reward down the line? It's the same thing for you in that sense as what I tell the kids when they're looking for summer internships. Do you want the $4,000 internship now, or do you want the $40,000 job when you graduate? And that's what they have to see. So they're willing to step out there and do the summer work for relatively nothing because they know that there's a longer term goal that they're reaching for. So if you're willing to open yourself up to that, let them in. And yes, are they going to make mistakes? Let's be honest, they will. But I bet you your employees right now probably make some mistakes at times. So it's a learning experience. It's not a negative, it's just a learning experience.
Let me add something to what you said. Like, you're right, it is an investment in, and I was at the Construction Teachers Association meeting earlier this year, and I was kind of laying out all the things that Skill to Build Michigan does, and they're like, but you're preaching to the choir. And I'm like, I know, before I go into the schools, I want to make sure my message is right. But in that, we had the conversation of how do you help a student or a young adult who sees kind of the bigger dollar, stocking shelves in Meijer, and you're done, you do your shift and you walk home or you go home, versus construction, which is harder than, I can stock shelves, I cannot do construction, but the pay starting out might be lower. So what I've said to them, it depends on how they come in and what knowledge. I know there's good paying jobs depending on your skill level when you come in, but if you're talking about that entry level, depending on where it's at, it's incumbent upon us as an industry to show them that long-term goal of where they can be. I mean, none of us started out where we are today. I started out interning making like nothing. But if you're willing to invest in that young person and show them what the path can be, we all win. The problem is in the housing industry, Katrina hit us about the same time Katrina hit down south, and all of our employees left, and then none of us invested in that next generation because the schools all said, well, I'm not gonna do a student build program because why would anybody go into construction right now? So our problem now as an industry is now the tidal wave is hitting us, and we're like, oh crap, where are all our employees? But we need to take that time to invest in those kids that want to come into the industry and want to learn. Are they going to be perfect? No. But if you invest in them and train them, like it was said earlier, they'll be loyal, and they're that generation that very well could take over, companies.
Here's the insight. Listen very carefully. Here's the key to students. It's two things. Students in school today want to be social and they want to feel successful. Now, I talked about that as students. Think about your employees. None of them really want to work, especially this generation. They don't want to work in a bubble, and they want to feel good about what they've done. This industry allows you to do that. I constantly talk to people in the industry who walk around and say, yeah, I love driving around town and say, I helped build that, and build that, and build that, and build that. That's an incredible sense of accomplishment. And if you can help the students feel successful while engaging them in a social setting that'll allow them to grow professionally, you'll win. You'll win.
I'll add just to finish up where John had started. Was it, where do you go? I do highly suggest going to the HBA because that's who contacts me when someone contacts them. They are the great source. We couldn't have the partnerships that we have. A lot of those started at the HBA. So we've committed to the Next Generation Committee. They've been a supporter and committed to us from the very beginning when we started doing programming. So start out with the HBA. The other part of my answer would be is that, you know, you're one company that has a whole bunch of needs amongst 500 companies that have a bunch of needs. So everyone says, well, can I hire your guys? Can I hire your guys? I might turn out 5, 10 students a year. All of our programs combined couldn't fill the need. And so the people that we work with are the people that have a commitment to our program or a commitment to the cause. A lot of companies can't. They just simply don't have the time or the resources to make the commitment. However, the companies that do make the commitment to the HBA, to training programs like ours, are the first people I call because they have that vested interest. They've invested their time and their resources, and they understand what we do. They understand the populations we serve. They understand where our students are going to come in at. That makes our job ultimately easier because now we have great relationships with employers. So when things go well, we hear about them, but when things don't go well, we can interject and we can jump in and we can help with that process. So the main employers that get the best work are the ones that are committed to us up front as well.
And if I can thank you for that intro and that softball. Thank you, Ryan. Because actually I already had prepared comments, but it's perfect here in terms of today was about awareness. Today was about bringing together all these groups out here that are doing great work in our community, that want to help our community, and having those resources available now to everybody. We're going to have a series of ways. That's why we were videotaping this. We know our industry's busy. They can't all get here, but we're going to have that and release these videos so that people have that information. We're going to put it on our webpage as well. Tori talked about how we can make those things work with the job postings. So, and then Jody, I always kind of remind ourselves, we're not a placement agency per se at the HBA, but what we can do is help make those connections, right? And so happy either through our web or through just the old-fashioned phone call. If someone calls us and say, we're struggling, we need to help, or we'll take a chance, we'll make that connection for you. We'll figure out who that connection has to be. Because now after we've talked about awareness, and Randy, you said something earlier today, I totally forgot, and I wish I could remember it, but basically it comes now. Today is now, so after today is about action, right? And so what we're going to be doing and asking of all of our members is now take action, right? And so we've been talking about this, and we know it's an issue. So it could be one thing. It could be doing the, the ground shadow. It's a ground shadowing day. Groundhog shadowing. Do that. Mentor somebody. Hire somebody, a returning citizen. Hire a veteran. Hire someone from the minority community that you might not have ever thought about before. Get involved with ADC's programming. Play 3-on-3 basketball if that's all you're going to do. Help with the rally, which raises funds for the construction workforce development. So that is going to be our challenge as the HBA. So now, okay, you guys have been saying we need help. Okay, now it's time to, what's the term? I won't say it, no. You know what I mean. So put up or, yeah, never mind. But no, I mean that in a very good way, that we really need to say, take a chance. That's what today's about. So I appreciate everyone being here. I don't know, I was going to say that at the end, but it was a perfect segue from Ryan, so I'll turn it back to Todd and see if you got any other final comments.
Final words of wisdom. No, hopefully what bled through in this last panel is just the passion of the people. I'm proud to say that I work with everyone here, and I'm proud to say that. I'm still passionate about helping young people. It took us a few days to get into this shortage. It's going to take us a few days to get out of it. However, it has to start somewhere, and it is with this group. And I'd encourage everyone, to utilize the resources here this morning. And I always say, I'm a big believer, just connect the dots, connect the resources together, and utilize that. And that's how it's going to help and change things. So thank you very much. Thank you to the panelists for being here, and thank you, HBA.
Got time. I know this has been a very long, or hopefully very informative morning. We do have a little bit of lunch available, so if you still have a few minutes to grab a quick bite to eat and want to continue to network a little bit, feel free to stay. Otherwise, thank you for being here.